This is Call on the Field Stands. I'm Jeff Mapis. Ryan Denchef here as well after a long holiday break, probably too long. Got some Elijah Craig to sip on tonight, and we're ready to talk some sports.
Back-to-back podcast where we went with the bourbon.
Absolutely.
It's hard to remember back all the way back in December before the new year when we were recording our last podcast before the new year.
Yeah, so last podcast we previewed the college football semifinals at length. And now we're in the week of when the national championship took place, and LSU capped off a historic run offensively with Joe Burrow getting the Heisman and then basically accounting for like 1,000 yards by himself in 2 playoff games and throwing for
his stats are
11
absurd,
touchdowns.
Bro. His stats are the most absurd stats I think I've ever seen of a college performance ever. What did he have, like 6,000 passing yards or something like that? 65 total.
He didn't
touchdowns.
Have 6,000
I know, it
passing,
was
but
almost.
it like accounted for yards. He has 6,000.
It's like 58 and change, I think, passing, which is just absurd.
Yeah,
like, that is so stupid. In what, 15 games? It's hard to put into words what we witnessed with LSU and their offense, and just him in particular. Dude just went God mode on everybody.
He pretty much set every significant passing record you could set in school history, SEC history, and college football history. I think another one was, and this is crazy, that a prerequisite is throwing for 5,000 yards, but no one in college football history had accomplished his completion percentage while still throwing for 5,000 yards, and it was above 70%. I mean, that's wild. No matter how many yards you.
The whole offense was stacked top to bottom, like we talked about in length in our last podcast as we previewed the first round of the playoffs. They're just stacked. One of the best teams of all time. I mean, the argument could be had and the discussion could be had is LSU this year the greatest team of all time, and be pretty hard to argue against it, to be honest, especially with the firepower they had in offense.
Yeah, it's really carried by what they accomplished on offense this season. Their defense was still pretty good. I mean, they have some decent talent on the defensive side of the ball, but their offense definitely carried the team this year, and Clemson just couldn't get enough stops and make enough plays on offense at the end of the day. And it was a fun national championship for me to watch. I mean, if you enjoy quality quarterback play.
Not me, man. I was still very salty from what happened in round 1 when Ohio State, in my opinion, got royally screwed by the good old officials on numerous occasions, in particular the one play that everybody will remember when they not only fucked up the call, but reversed the call on the field when the call on the field should have stands or whatever. No, but one of the worst calls I've ever seen. The fact that, sometimes you see close calls go one way where it's like, okay, you got to leave what happened on the field, not enough evidence, even though there is, but we're not going to change it. The fact that they changed it and then come out the next day like, oh yeah, we fucked up, our bad. It's like, what the pivotal moment in the game changed the complexion of the entire game, and that was one of several plays where we're just scratching our heads like, what the fuck? So I was pretty pissed and salty still, so it was kind of tough even watching the game. I didn't even watch much of it. Just because I just took myself out of the whole college football element after that Ohio State loss. But yeah, if you like,
there is a veteran ref that did come out and say the overturned fumble was an incorrect call.
Yeah, the NFL does it all the time, where they're like, "Oh, we fucked up yesterday." Like I think somebody, whether it was the crew or the NCAA or something, I saw, or I think I saw maybe someone told me and had the information a little bit mixed up. But I thought like the powers that be came out and said after the game, like, yeah, we fucked it up. It's like, well, yeah, no shit, buddy. You cost the game. You took a touchdown off the board and allowed them to go down and score. I mean, I guess it didn't allow them, but it resulted in a 14-point swing in a game that ended in less than a touchdown game. So it changed the game. Ohio State probably wins, without too much trouble if that play stands. And they're playing LSU in what would have been a hell of a matchup and a crazy exciting game. Best defense in college football against the best offense maybe of all time. Would have been fun. Instead, we get a Clemson blowout for the 5th straight year there in the national championship. Good for them. I'm still bitter about it.
I can tell.
Yeah. Don't get me started. I'm done.
The best part about it is most of the country doesn't give a flying fuck about Ohio State and their misery and their tears. So
Yeah, most people are happy that it happened to Ohio State. Almost like, the Patriots going down in the first round. It's like, oh, good. I mean, nothing really controversial happened in that game, but it's a team that everybody enjoys hating on, I feel like, just because they get so much publicity and they win all the time. And their fans can be a little bit obnoxious at times. I guess that's most college football fans, but I don't know, they get a bad rap in fandom, I feel like. But yeah, good for everybody else in our misery. I mean, it's just unfortunate that I had to go down that way. Like, if we lose to Clemson, okay, that's fine. I'd be over it. It would suck. It would hurt. It would be upsetting. But the way that it happened in a fashion where they shouldn't have lost the game is just hard pill to swallow. So that's why I didn't even really pay attention to the championship game. It's like, I'll watch the highlights. I'll tune in, see what happens a little bit, see if I'm still pissed. I said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Cut it off.
Ohio State also had stretches of that game where it was like the worst they had performed all season. Almost, I mean, like mental mistakes, like fucking up the punter on that one play
that was bad.
And giving him a first down. I mean, Justin Fields throwing
That was
2
really
picks,
dumb.
and really he could have had a third, and it should have been returned to the house. I can't believe the safety for Clemson.
Well, the
dropped
last
it.
pick, if you see the receiver just stops running the route, like he completes that route,
breaks
touchdown, Ohio State wins.
Yeah,
in the
I
end
wish he
zone.
wouldn't have to see what would have happened. I think
I mean, I
Olave
think
would
he
have
would-
gotten there, but
yeah,
the
I think
safety
he
did
had
break on the
position.
ball like immediately.
Yeah, I think the body positioning of where he would have been, I don't think the safety, I mean, it would have been, the safety could have made a great play for sure. He wouldn't have picked it off. That's for almost certain.
I think there would have been
But,
a battle for the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
Either
yeah,
incomplete or Olave probably catches it and Ohio State wins. If not, drive continues. Instead, I don't know what the hell happened. He just cuts his route off and it's wide open.
wasn't on
Game's
the
over.
same page.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. But, I mean, that one play in particular, like you take all that aside, and we've talked about this in the past, like everybody can bitch about like, oh, you can't let the refs predict the game. If there's other moments in the game that could happen that, you wouldn't have lost if you would have done this, kind of those mental mistakes that you said. But when you're playing a team as good as Clemson, you know how hard it is you're not going to play a perfect game and you're not going to allow them just not score and things like that. So the fact that you put yourself in a position to win and it got taken away from the refs, I think the argument of like, oh, you could have done other things and not fucking hit the punter and you probably would, like, mistakes like that happen in the complexity of a game and in the fast speed of a game. A ref taking a touchdown off the board after replay confirms what everybody saw and what they called on the field. It's hard to get over humps like that when you're playing a team like Clemson. So got stripped away by the fucking refs, and it's going to hurt for a long time until next year when they win the Natty, and I forget all about this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
They are going to be pretty fucking good next
Yeah,
year.
dude. A lot of guys coming back.
But for now, I'll enjoy the OSU tears bitching about officials. It's hilarious. to me.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
It's crazy how fast the college football season
I know,
flies
dude,
by.
especially when we were doing this podcast and, breaking down the games and looking ahead to big matchups and conference championships and bowl games and all that kind of stuff. Like, this season went by super fast.
Yeah. It was another fun season as a general sports fan. Not for me, a Michigan fan. Another 9-win fucking season for Jim. Probably win 9 games again next year and get slapped by Ohio State at the Horseshoe. So
Yes, sir.
it's just sad that Don Brown is still employed. And here on January 15th, I know going to the shoe that Ohio State will be going for a 70 burger this time.
Hey, bro, you trying to go to that game?
No,
Let's
Nope.
get some tickets.
not a chance. Not a
I might be
chance.
going to that game, actually. Had preliminary conversations about attending.
Hell
said
yeah, you
game.
should, man.
I haven't been to an Ohio State game that mattered. I've been to a lot of games that were like blowouts. Those are always fun too, but
Now
I want to go to a Big Ten game.
Yeah, the big conference games are really exciting. I love the live fan experience, and college football college football obviously provides a great atmosphere when you go to the game, especially a big one. So I would highly encourage you to go. Well, that one won't be a big game.
That's also true.
It'll be hype and everything, and then you guys will do your thing. So sticking in the Big Ten, got a little bit of a scandal possibly brewing here at, you guessed it, Penn State University.
Penn State, bro. Jesus. So everybody's probably already seen it, but more or less there's a whole hazing incident going on where a former player has filed a lawsuit against other former players and James Franklin and just Penn State as a university for various hazing and inappropriate sexual behavior from other players, rubbing their balls and dick on the dude's face and things of that nature, and saying that they're going to Sandusky him at a place like Penn State. So most unbelievable shit that they are basically allowing this to go on and have allowed this to go on. Obviously, the reason James Franklin and the organization is in this lawsuit is because obviously they knew about it and they let it go on. My question to you is, what punishment is fair? Because in my opinion, and I think we kind of mentioned it through text the other day, is should they even have a football program? How should they be suspended, death penalty style, like teams like SMU back in the day? How many years? What do you think should happen? I mean, who knows what will happen? Probably nothing, which is fucked up. Especially at a place like Penn State where all this hazing stuff has come out over the years. The kid a couple years ago that kind of jumped off all this fraternity stuff, where fraternities across country, even at our alma mater, OU, they shut down all their frats because of hazing. Kid dies in a fraternity. Multiple people go to jail because of a hazing incident where a dude basically got super fucked up and they just let him die there. The fact that this keeps going on at Penn State, shit is fucked up over there. What do you think should be the reaction by the NCAA at Penn State?
If all this stuff is proven and James Franklin knew about it, I don't know, man. It's hard to say what the NCAA will do, because
probably nothing.
Who fucking knows what they
don't give a fuck about anything except dollars in their own pocket. And guess what? Penn State brings a lot of those, so probably not going to do anything.
They bring in dollars, so I don't know what the NCAA will do if this stuff is proven to where Coach Franklin and anyone else in the athletic department knew about it. Fuck, what if other players come forward and say things? I mean, it's one thing. I understand hazing and pulling pranks and shit like that.
Right.
I mean, it happened in high school too. If you played athletic when you're the underclassman, you're going to get shit on. It's going to happen.
There is definitely a line though.
Genitalia is the fucking line.
Yes.
And being at a place like Penn State and saying,
contacting
I'm gonna
someone
Sandusky
else's,
you.
Contacting someone else's balls, putting your balls on someone else. How is that?
Dude, not just that. He's claiming that upperclassmen would straight up put his dick on underclassmen's asses.
Yeah. Like
straight up.
As they're saying, I'm going to Sandusky.
Yeah. I mean, upperclassmen would grab lowerclassmen by the genitals. I'm fighting you to kill.
Oh,
you.
yes.
Like,
oh, yes.
Come on. So, yeah, I mean, this player Humphries and his father are claiming that they reported a lot of this stuff to James Franklin and nothing was done by the team specifically. One of the players, Damian Barber, got suspended for a game, I believe. But it's this same player, Damian Barber, that also later told Humphries that if he ever visited his city, he would make certain that he was gunned down upon arrival.
Jeez, so I didn't see that.
There's a lot of shit.
My God.
There's a lot of shit coming out. And with the other hazing incidents that you already kind of hit on going around campuses across the country, these deaths, I don't know, man. They might decide to drop the hammer on Penn State.
Dude,
Had
they
enough
should.
of their shit.
Bro, they definitely should. Like, they should be suspended. They should have no football program at least for 1, if not 2 years. If not more than that. Like, more than that would be warranted, in my opinion.
I think after the Sandusky news came out, their football program should have been suspended for years.
Oh, for sure.
If not indefinitely. That's just my opinion. I mean, that was the most disgusting, systematic breakdown of an administration, like, of all time. I mean, disgusting. Jerry Sandusky set up a foundation to help children with needs, essentially, and use that to pimp young boys out for himself and others to molest them. It's fucking gross. And it happened on Penn State's grounds, and Joe Pa knew about it, and the whole athletic department knew about it and did nothing. That's disgusting, and that university disgusts me, and it disgusts me even more.
Yeah, they should have been, like you said, suspended. Their football program should have been non-existent, at least for several years. They got a 4-year playoff ban. What the fuck does that do? Nothing. So everything stays the same. They just don't get to go to the postseason. They still get all the same amount of games, the same amount of revenue, one would assume. give or take, pretty
I'm
much
sure
close.
the revenue
was fine.
peaking.
It was definitely, no, I'm talking about during this 4-year ban.
Sure, yeah.
Probably lost out on some recruiting, but obviously once that runs out, the recruiting comes right back. So they lost a couple years of recruiting probably.
The point they're at now is what I'm saying. Their revenue is probably through the roof.
Oh, most definitely.
Franklin gets here, they win the Big Ten, go to a Rose Bowl. Now they're churning out NFL players.
When you have that history of what happened not that long ago, like this Sandusky shit was not that long ago at all. And for this to now come out and be as gross as what we're hearing it to be, there's no way they cannot suspend him, in my opinion. They won't. I'm sure they won't. But they should have no football program for multiple years in a row. Just done.
Yeah.
Death penalty style. No football program.
It's the only way you're going to hit them.
Free transfers. Everybody, free transfers, all the players. I mean, there has to be something. Like the players were directly involved with this. The coaches were directly involved. One would assume the athletic department all the way up to the top all fucking knew or had some idea about this. To allow it to continue, there has to be no football program.
Yeah.
Slice it.
And these are...
Slice them out.
So, I mean, some of these names...
This is bigger than football. This is people's lives.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's definitely a line when it comes to hazing. And I mean, I know for a fact this happens, well, not to this level, but hazing happens in other sports, other universities, even at the high school level. Like I said, I mean, I've heard of some high schools that have traditions, like the seniors do the same prank every single year to the freshmen coming in. Like, I know it happens.
Rubbing their cocks on their ass and face. No. Like, I assure you it's not.
I don't care how big you are or if you're about to whoop my ass. I'm getting a hit on you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm turning around and I'm trying to fuck you up.
Damn right.
I don't care if you retaliate and kick my ass. I don't care how big you are. It's fucked up, man.
Let me ask you this. If you're a Penn State fan, or let's just say this happens to Michigan, what would be your reaction as a fan of the school that this is all going down to?
It'd be weird, man. If I were a Penn State fan when the whole Sandusky news came out and then you find out Joe Pa knew about it and other coaches knew about it and did nothing, I'm going to be real honest. It would be hard for me to continue to root for that university.
Yeah.
One case could be like down the road, I stay as like a closet fan if they come back and continue the
clear
program.
All their shit up. This would have to be a next straw, man. Like,
yeah,
to get through the Joe Pa shit and the whole Sandusky situation. Okay, it's hard to just bail on your fan. I get that, but after that, it's like just one thing after another. This was Ohio State, and this was going down. Man, I don't know how I would react.
It'd be weird. I don't know. It'd be weird.
It'd be hard to support that organization when this shit was all going down and condoned by the higher ups. Like, that's the fucked up part of it. Yeah. They're okay. They're basically saying they're okay with it because good players get to do whatever the fuck they want.
That's the thing. They're star players. Micah Parsons was their defensive MVP. Gratos, he's got a long name. I just know the last part. I mean, he's going to be an NFL pick. He was their star edge rusher. I mean, these are guys in the allegations here. So, yeah, it stinks. It would be weird if it were my team. I wouldn't need this. The whole Sandusky thing really would have.
Yeah.
I still remember I was in my dorm room at OU when the breaking news flashed across the screen and they were giving the details of this. I was stunned. Yeah. I was looking at the TV screen like, is this fucking real?
Yeah, I was the same way. Like, I felt almost like sick to my stomach. Like, what the fuck is this? Gross. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's hard to even imagine. And like I said, it's a shame how, money gets in the way of people's lives. Like the NCAA and these organizations bring up so much money that they basically will do whatever they can to make sure that things go on and they continue to get their bread. Like, they'll overlook shit for years, like we were just talking about, just because they get money from it and their organization is successful. Like, this is people's lives. You're ruining people's lives for dollars. Fuck that, dude. I can't handle that shit.
Yep.
Penn State should have no football program next year and the following at minimum, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we'll see what comes out, if all this is proven and shit like that.
Nothing's going to happen, no.
I don't think anything will happen. I think there should be a pretty severe punishment. I didn't think the punishment last time was severe enough because they're right back at it right now, filling their pockets with cash. So We are going to get to the NFL and talk about the championship games coming up this weekend, but why don't we stick with other scandals going on?
We're already on controversy. Let's keep it rolling with some more.
Let's keep it rolling. Talk about bullshit punishments. Let's flip it over to the Major League Baseball, where the MLB dished out punishments toward the Houston Astros for this whole stealing signs extravaganza and tipping the batters on when it was going to be an off-speed pitch, for example. So the MLB punishment is fining a billionaire owner a whopping $5 million fucking dollars, okay, and suspending manager AJ Hinch and general manager Jeff Luhnow for a year, one single year. Hey, I got an easy solution for you, Ryan. If you're the owner of the Astros, just fire the motherfuckers. What do you think happened?
Boom,
fucking fired him.
Obviously, they weren't going to bring it back. Obviously, they were going to be fired. Obviously, they're going to. I mean, first of all, you got to think about it in multiple ways. One, how do you say his name? Luhnow, I think it's Luhnow. So Luhnow and Hinch combined salaries over $5 million. It's probably in the range of 6, 7. They don't really disclose GM salaries a lot of times. Private organizations, they don't really have to, et cetera, et cetera. But, you'll look up other similar status GMs are making between $5 and $10 million. Plus, AJ Hinch was getting like 2 or something like that. So let's say about 7 to 8 million. They're not going to hire a 7 to 8 million GM coach combo to replace these two cats. So there's your $5 million savings right there that you just had to pay and fine.
Yeah.
Also, they netted over $30 million in proceeds from their World Series run. They get to keep all that money too.
Alone. Just the World Series run alone.
Yeah,
what you're saying.
Yeah, that run. I don't know if that's just the World Series or the playoffs, all the revenue. Because it's basically they take the whole playoff postseason revenue sharing and they split it among each team that was in the playoffs based on how far each team went. So a wild card team would get X cut. The team that won the World Series would get a bigger cut. Obviously, one would say that they contributed more to these dollars because they played more games, brought in more ratings,
right,
etc. So they netted over $30 million from the stats that I saw. They get to keep all that. They basically got fined $5 million that they're now saving because they got to fire their coach and not have to pay out their salaries. And they lose out on a bottom of the round, first and second round picks for the next 2 years, where they're going to have plus 20 something pick in those rounds, which is just a complete crapshoot at that. You're picking 18-year-olds who maybe are going to be good in 5 years. So basically, they didn't penalize them at all, is pretty much what the MLB just said.
Pretty much. I mean, they still have all their star power players.
Yep.
No player suspensions. We'll see if anything comes out, but I don't know that I foresee that happening.
I mean, you think it would have already come out by now.
Yeah.
They targeted the Astros first. That's what first came out. Alex Cora is still on the hook. He wins the World Series as an assistant manager, a bench coach for the Astros, then becomes the manager of the Red Sox, does the exact same sign-stealing shit, wins the World Series again the next year as manager of the Red Sox. So who knows what, I've heard talks about him getting a Pete Rose, just complete lifetime ban.
Complete lifetime ban.
I wouldn't be, honestly,
well, he got shit canned too.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, he did today. I wouldn't be surprised if he just got a Pete Rose ban. Never allowed to be around baseball ever again. I think that's pretty much fair. Going back to the team aspect, especially the Astros, where it went all the way up the chain, all the players knew they get no suspension, which is complete fucking horseshit. Like, the players were a part of it just as much as the manager. They were all in the
strategy. I mean, they were all incorporated in it. They were doing it. They were tipping signs.
And when you look at the analytics, you see the swing miss rate for the Astros that season was incredibly lower than any other team in the major leagues. So they were in on it. They won a World Series from it, benefited financially, their owner did, by millions of dollars, and basically get no punishment. I think their punishment should at minimum be a 1 to 2 year postseason ban. No postseason. They can win 110 games. No postseason. That's what I would say what should happen. And, I mean, you can go even further than that. I don't know. What do you think should happen? I don't know if you want to, suspend players. You could. I think a postseason ban would essentially mean your entire team is suspended for a season.
Yeah.
I mean, they still get to get paid, but...
I was hoping for a postseason ban. At least one postseason ban is what I would have been pushing for.
Send a message or something.
Do something.
They certainly didn't send a message with this.
Yeah.
They'll find more creative ways down the road to do it, and maybe there'll be stiffer punishments if they get caught again, but
it's basically painting the picture of, hey, cheat and win your World Series, and then we'll slap your hand a little bit if there's evidence and you get caught. So took a page right out of the NCAA's playbook and didn't slap down an adequate punishment.
And everyone's talking about, they should strip the World Series. Like, I mean, okay, sure. Who gives a fuck? Like,
I don't really care about that.
If it comes out that in 2014 Zeke Elliott got paid and they say, Ohio State stripped of their national championship, am I less satisfied? Did I celebrate less hard? Do I feel less about that championship a couple of years ago? Of course not. Of course not. Stripping it after the fact is irrelevant. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, sure, say it. It's all, just by whatever the term is. It's just for show, as they say.
Yeah.
We strip it. We take your trophy away. Who fucking...
If it was like a significantly more, like paying players, I get you weren't going for an exact apples to apples comparison, but paying players to me,
yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm just saying.
This was like a systematic cheating to get advantages like on the field of play.
I'm just saying, like, taking away a World Series.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Posthumously, if that's the right word for that, I don't know. After the fact, it doesn't fucking matter. The fans still celebrated it the same. It
does
still
nothing.
Means the same.
It doesn't punish them moving forward. That's what I
take their postseason revenue first of all. So that $30 million plus the $5 million. How about that? Scratch that. Poof, that's gone. And a postseason ban. So he doesn't get to benefit financially from that postseason or World Series run, and they don't get to do it again in their prime when they still have a stacked roster.
Yeah.
Even though they lost some pieces, but
they still got some studs.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it should have been a postseason ban.
It's a joke.
And hell,
the almighty dollar dictates all yet again.
To hit them even further, you could go postseason ban and then dish out the actual player suspensions the following year when they're eligible for the postseason.
Are you saying suspend the players who were involved? But anybody on the team gets suspended?
Just yeah, but it happens when they're eligible again for the postseason. That would really fuck them over.
Well, just give them 2-year postseason ban. Then what's the difference?
Well, that's true.
I mean,
I'm medieval. I like knowing they have a chance to make the playoffs again. But your star players are taken away for like.
I mean, if you're going to
to
do that, I just say, ban them altogether. But I mean, they care about ratings. They care about dollars. Houston market is growing, especially with the way they played over the last couple seasons. So they don't want to take that market away. They don't want to impact the fandom of that market and overall ratings of the game. So let's keep this team out, which is also bullshit because you replace Houston with any other team, the ratings are pretty much going to be the same. Like, it's still the MLB playoffs. There's still a whole fandom of people who are going to watch. There's still a whole nother market that's going to replace Houston. But like I say, Houston's a big market. They bring in a lot of dollars. They're hot right now. They're afraid to take away dollars, I guess. It's also, you got to think about it. I feel like in these organizations, it's owners and they're kind of in one with the MLB, and then you got the players, kind of like the NFL.
No, it's exactly
owners versus players.
Yeah.
So why would the MLB, who has a basically relationship with the owners to do whatever they want to make them money? Everybody makes money. We're not going to punish you because that punishes me because you're the owner and I'm the MLB and I profit off of you profiting. So you're cool. You're my buddy. You're the owner. You could do whatever the fuck you want. We're not going to punish you too hard.
I mean, the commissioners basically represent the owners,
right?
More or less for
course.
The league.
They're supposed to represent everybody, including the players and the fans and everybody, but they don't. They care about dollars.
There's a reason CBAs are put in place, and there's a players' union in these leagues. Right. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Trevor Bauer, you were right all along, dog.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir.
I thought you were a weird ass motherfucker while you were here, but you were right all along. Damn.
Yep. Put out videos, made comments. Everybody's bashing him, calling him a little baby, a little bitch. Turns out he was right. But what's interesting, though, you had guys from the Tigers, I mean, Verlander in particular, talking about the Indians stealing signs. So was he also correct and right? Were the Indians doing something sketchy? I don't know.
A
little interesting.
I wouldn't rule anything out, to be honest with you.
It certainly wasn't as egregious as banging trash cans. Like, how it took so long for anybody to catch on to that shit is wild.
It is wild.
But they should have fucking hammered him. If the MLB should have hammered him.
Yeah, I was rooting for it. I wanted to see it.
Set a tone, set a precedent. You don't cheat in this game and get away with it. Instead, they said, like you said, cheat, get your World Series, and after the fact, you'll be cool. You'll be all right.
Fucking ban Pete Rose for betting on his own team.
Right. but you allow a team to literally cheat and impact a game and a championship. They got a championship out of cheating, and that's okay. But Pete Rose gets banned for life and can't go into the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team to win.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
The MLB is, I don't know. They're an odd duck sometimes. I don't understand how Pete Rose is left out of the Hall of Fame. Just fucking let him back in. It's a museum anyway. He was one of the greatest baseball players. Same with
Barry Bonds. Same with Roger Clemens. You got the greats.
Put him in.
That'll be a whole nother conversation for another day. Barry Bonds, greatest of all time. Not in the Hall of Fame because a bunch of old white dudes say, oh, he used steroids. Yeah, so did everybody else, dummy.
Even if you stripped more than 200 of his home runs in the steroid era.
Bro,
he's the only one in the 500 club.
If you cut his stat, because there's a bunch of comments on Barry Bonds that say he started using steroids in year X. I forget exactly what it was. Let's say it's 1998 because it was around there. So if you cut his career in 1998, when they say he would have started, is when he started using steroids. Let's just eliminate those stats and pretend like he retired. He should still be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Without those next 8-9 years of him just jacking bomb after bomb. He should be in.
Yeah.
What about all the white dudes back in the day who weren't playing against black guys because they weren't allowed in the MLB?
Yeah.
Look at all their stats.
No, not just that. No diversity.
Look at that competition
whatsoever. Babe Ruth could fucking play drunk and jack home runs off of these chumps throwing.
Yeah.
It's you
got a whole culture of human beings who you look at today, probably more than how many percent are minority, weren't even allowed in the game back in the day.
Yeah.
So what about that? Should we keep an asterisk on all them cats?
Dude,
no,
you had
not.
pitchers juicing back then too, fucking throwing like 98 every single pitch.
And guess what happened?
And they weren't lengthy, agile pitchers either. You could tell, dude. I feel like looking back in the early 2000s.
Eric Gagne, bro.
Dude, some of them were fucking jacked.
Eric Gagne had like 2 seasons of studness. Yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Was he on roids? Probably.
Probably.
Guess who he couldn't get out? Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to our point, the MLB is a bunch of cowards, and they need to do something more than basically nothing, which is what they did. So, I don't know. I guess that's the controversy in the MLB. I don't know if there's any other further discussion to get into on that topic, but
I wonder if the Red Sox will get any sort of punishment. I mean, they already fired their manager, so
yeah,
that's one.
I mean,
check
obviously,
box already that the MLB can't check.
Yeah, that obviously came down. They knew what was coming with Cora, so they just kind of got ahead of it. Will they get a similar suspension? I don't know. I mean, I was following it more. Like, there was a lot of stuff coming out, especially on social media, that proved the cheating and all this stuff with the Astros.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen as much of that. Maybe it's just because I haven't paid attention to it as much. But depending on what evidence they have or how explicitly and how much they did it, it could impact. But if they pretty much did the same thing, one would assume they'd get the same penalty. But who knows?
Tough to say. I hate Boston too, so I'd root for a postseason ban.
Yes, they should. They should. You cheat, you don't get to compete.
Yeah.
That should be a pretty obvious and easy thing to dictate in the league.
Yeah. To that level of cheating.
Right.
So, anywho, let's get back to football.
Yes.
NFL
games.
Playoffs are in action. Already to championship weekend. We'll start with the AFC. Biggest surprise, obviously, the Tennessee Titans.
Dude, what happened to Derrick Henry all of a sudden? This dude cannot be stopped.
He's a fucking beast.
Wins the rushing title. Is basically the only player on their entire offense, I feel like. I mean, their offensive line is solid, but like their quarterback is a guy who couldn't even cut it in Miami.
Right.
So I don't even know who their leading receiver is.
It's got to be A.J. Brown, the rookie.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he's going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's actually been balling out. But Derrick Henry, out of nowhere, pretty much. Like, he hasn't really done anything up to this season. Like, his stats for the last couple of years, I don't know if they just weren't utilizing him properly or if something changed. And all of a sudden, he kind of got it figured out. But dude is untackleable. He looks like Marshawn Lynch out there.
Yeah, he is a freak. I mean, I love how they posted his high school numbers during it was one of the games. I don't know if it was
some of the most absurd shit you'll ever see.
It's hilarious. If anyone is ever bored, like while you're taking a deuce or something like that, pull up Derrick Henry's high school highlights. They are hysterical to watch, man. It's just this. I mean, he's always been this tall.
Right.
He wasn't quite as like shredded, not as muscular, but
he's playing against
it's
high school
fucking
dudes,
hilarious, man. You just see this big ass guy outrunning everyone, every single high schooler on the field. And when I first watched him and saw he was going to Bama, I was like, man, I don't know if they're going to keep this kid at running back. Like, he's just so massive. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep his speed and be able to cut on a dime at the Division I level at Alabama. Sure enough, they fucking kept him at running back.
Sure enough, that paid off.
Yeah, that paid off for them, and now it's paying off for the Titans.
Dude, they are looking pretty good. I mean, I did not see this coming. I don't even know if I predicted them. A while back we talked about who's going to make the wild card and that kind of stuff. I don't even think I picked them to make the playoffs.
They had Tannehill, bro. Who the fuck is picking that?
They're going to crumble. Well, this was like when they were in the thick of it. They were like probably like 6-6 or something like that, just around middle. They might even had a spot in the playoffs at the time, but I still had no faith in them. But they won 5 of their last 7, it looks like, and 7 of their last 10. After going, 2-4, I guess, replacing Mariota, who's supposed to be the franchise guy, with fucking Ryan Tannehill, and all of a sudden they just go on a run. Mike Vrabel's got his shit going on over there, man.
Yeah, he does, man. Yeah, they're playing good foot. They have all 3 phases of the game kind of married to each other. They're all operating in harmony. Offense.
And they have an identity.
Yeah, Tannehill just kind of is there managing the game, just not making a mistake. They can feed Derrick Henry. Maybe get a big play from A.J. Brown every once in a while. But when they don't move the ball, they at least chew clock. Their special teams seem to be solid, and they win the field position game, and their defense is going out there and shutting offenses down.
That's the thing. A lot of teams have talent, like the Cleveland Browns, but there's a lot of holes in the Browns. But I'm just using it as an example because that's who I watch other games. They have no offensive identity whatsoever, the Browns. Like, they have who was almost the running title record until he rushed for like no yards, and Derrick Henry went for like 220 in the last game of the season to barely beat him by like 40 yards. They have no identity, even with one of the greatest running backs in the game right now. The Titans have a fucking identity, and it's feed Derrick Henry until he can't be fed no more.
Yeah.
And they win games. And Ryan Tannehill has combined for 160 passing yards in the 2 playoff games they've played this season, or
That's
this
absurd.
Game, this postseason. He has thrown for 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 160 yards on a total of 29 attempts. 15 for 29, 160, 3 touchdowns.
A total of 29 attempts?
29 attempts.
Holy fuck.
In 2 games combined. And they beat the likes of the New England Patriots and the Baltimore Ravens, who were 2 of the better teams in the league. One of the most high-powered offenses that we've seen all season in the Ravens.
Yeah.
Shut down Lamar. Well, I didn't shut down Lamar, but shut him down enough that it didn't matter when he got going a little bit in the second half, late in the game. He had like 150 rushing yards, 140, which if you look at the stat sheet,
he had 400 total yards.
Yeah, a lot of those were when the game was out of reach, though.
He had some pick. They just were not in sync that day. The Titans had their number.
The MVP of the league, who gets a first-round bye, gets beat by a quarterback who throws 15 passes for 80-some yards, or 14 passes and 80 yards. Like, they have an identity, and it's feed Derrick Henry. And it's been working when you have a guy like him who has been balling out since game 1 against the Browns. So the question is, can they continue this rushing attack and this offensive identity to attack the Kansas City Chiefs? Says no fucking way. I just don't think they're going to be able to slow the Chiefs down enough to allow their running game to dictate the game. I mean, even if you look at time of possession, I'd have to pull the exact stat, but the time of possession for the Titans isn't even that much. I mean, they've been making big plays. They run the downfield, they get some turnovers, and they score, and then they play defense well. And I mean, they give up yards, like you just said. Lamar Jackson, he put up stats, and they barely scored points. So they're kind of a bend but don't break defense, run the rock. Somehow they don't have a lot of time of possession, even with how much they run. But
I think the some of that is, though, the drives they do have it going on with Derrick Henry. They last a long, like, that's contributing the most, like huge chunks. Their scoring drives are taking up like a lot of time where the defense is staying out on the field. So time of possession might balance out between both teams, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, with the low time of possession and kind of how they've been playing this postseason, giving the ball to Pat Mahomes more often than you have the ball, pretty bad formula to win.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to slow the game way down. They're going to have to get some stops against the Chiefs, which easier said than done. And they're going to have to play with a lead, which is what they've done, especially last game. But playing from ahead, not giving up a lot of points, allowing the opportunity to keep feeding Derrick Henry the ball, and that's how they've been able to win. I don't think they're going to be able to do that because they're going to need to put up some mad points against the Chiefs because the Chiefs are going to score. And can they put up mad points by running the rock all day? I don't think that's going to happen.
I think Derrick Henry will be able to feast. However,
sure.
However, it's just they're not going to have enough firepower to keep up with the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs finished the game against the Houston Texans on a 51-7 run. So, yeah.
Right.
I mean, just when you think
they scored 4 touchdowns in like 4 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, it was absurd. And it's not just Mahomes. Like they have so much firepower on offense,
right?
And they're so well coached.
There's very few people in the league who can cover Travis Kelce, and then you got Tyreek Hill on the outside. It's like, good luck. And then Hardman is one of the faster dudes in the league, and then you got Sammy Watkins out there.
Yeah,
they just got stud after stud, and then Pat Mahomes is like probably the greatest quarterback we've ever seen.
Yeah,
so I don't think they're going to be able to stop him enough and be able to, put up a bunch of points by feeding Derrick Henry. Maybe they can, but I mean, the Chiefs' defense has been solid this year, though.
Yeah, they don't get talked about.
The past couple seasons, that's been their downfall, especially last year and the lose to the Patriots in that AFC Championship game. The defense just couldn't get that one stop. I mean, they did, except for D Ford wanted to line up off sides, but
that was crazy.
But I mean, their defense has been their fault this year. Their offense, especially earlier in the year, I mean, Pat Mahomes was injured a little bit, but their offense wasn't clicking on all cylinders all season. But their defense had been able to step up and kind of hold down the fort. So now their defense is playing well. Their offense is still Pat Mahomes' offense, putting up 50 burgers on postseason games. That's fucking crazy. So I think the Chiefs cover their 7 with ease at home, and they're going to get the job done. The magical run for the Titans as a wild card 9-7 team comes to an end with the Chiefs winning with relative ease. How much do you think they're going to win by?
Somewhere around like 17, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate in my same suggestion. I think they're just going to get ahead. They're going to get ahead early, but it's going to stay a little bit close in the first half, and then they're going to come out, get a couple touchdowns in the second half, get a couple stops, and then the Titans they're just not going to be able to catch up. I mean, we got Ryan Tannehill as QB. It's going to be a little difficult to move the ball downfield quickly. So stack the box, slow down Derrick Henry, keep the game on the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. Slow it down for the Titans. Don't let them get big chunk plays. Derrick Henry, like you said, he's going to get his. He's probably going to go for 150 again.
Yeah,
but
I guarantee you will.
It's not going to be quick enough and big chunks enough. And it's Ryan Tannehill. Every time I keep saying that he's the quarterback, it just makes me laugh.
If the Chiefs explode early, it's going to be bigger than 17 because that's when, like you were saying, now you're actually forcing Tannehill to throw. And, that's not going to end well for the Titans all game for 3 more quarters. So
I think they're going to cover with pretty much ease.
Yeah, they're going to cover.
Cool, man. I want to see Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, me too.
That's going to be fun.
Me too. So both in agreement.
Yeah,
Chiefs
they're going to win.
Going to handle their business.
Yeah.
So let's flip it over to the NFC.
This is the game.
Yeah, that Green Bay Seahawks game was really fun to watch.
That was.
Did you get to tune into that?
I did.
Aaron Rodgers on 3rd down to close the game.
Dude.
My God.
I think I just texted you out. I just said cold-blooded. Aaron Rodgers is cold-blooded. Like
he just makes throws that are so on the money.
Ball game on the line. You get a first down is a wrap.
Yeah.
All they do, run it out. They don't got no timeouts, or maybe they had one timeout, so force them to use their last timeout, punt the ball with, 80 seconds left or something like that? Aaron Rodgers like, nah, I got this. Boop, fucking dime piece for the win. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is fucking beat. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best.
No, he is, he's pretty good.
That matchup was sweet, though. That was kind of one of those, like, I know they had a lot of people had the conversation, like, who would you rather have to close out? You had a final second drive, Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. Aaron Rodgers knows how you don't want to put the ball in Russell Wilson's hands, so he ended the game himself. It was, like you said, that was just a fun game to watch.
You can't go wrong with either quarterback in my mind in that
especially this year with Russ. He has balled out.
Yeah, they DK Metcalf is a lot better than I think both
He might be
of
the
us.
surprise of the season for me, bro.
He's been a really good asset to that offense.
A lot of that's probably Russell, but he's done a lot, especially that first.
But hey,
playoff
he
game.
gets him the ball and he makes a play with it, man. So
I thought he was going to be a bust. I mean, he ended up. If he would have went first round, like everyone was talking about him, top of the first round, I was like, that's bust city.
Yeah.
He ended up dropping to the bottom of the second round, which fair. That was a fair place to go. I thought he was going to kind of be like a 1-2 route guy, deep threat, not really be able to do much else, which defense are going to be able to key on that and slow him down. But he's impressed me a lot.
Yeah. No, he's going to be good for that.
Positions his body very, very well. A lot better than I thought he'd be able to. He puts himself in the right positions to go up and make catches, and he just gets the job done time after time.
Yeah.
Hands are a lot better than I thought they'd be.
They need to revamp their offensive coaching staff on that side of the ball and just give a new makeover to how that offense operates. Get an actual playmaking running back there, maybe add another weapon for Russ to throw to. Just mix it up because Russell Wilson is fucking good.
Tyler Lockett's a dog though too, man.
No, he's pretty good. I like Lockett. And DK will get older.
Get him a good tight end. Get him a good running back.
Yeah. No,
revamp the defense.
I just want to see Russell Wilson in an efficient, explosive offense because right now a lot of it is him improvising on when shit hits the fan. Yeah. So, but anywho, on to the winners. The Packers obviously advancing over the Seahawks, and now they will travel out west to play the hosts, the San Francisco 49ers, who could arguably be the biggest surprise of the season for like just how fucking dominant they've been.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knew they were going to be a lot better than they had been in the past. But this good, I did not see that coming. What are they, 13 wins, 13-3 the end of this season? Like that's pretty. I did not see that coming. I don't think a lot of people did. Their defense is probably the best defense in the league, and their offense is efficient enough. Another one of those teams, like I said, that has an identity. They know what they do. They run the fucking rock, and they build great defense.
They build off it.
So they're pretty fucking good, man.
Yeah, and I don't think the Packers fared too well traveling out west this year. I don't know how much of a factor that is now in the playoffs.
I think they lost at. I mean, they were 13-3. Also, they lost at the 49ers, at the Chargers. Their other loss, I think, was like the Eagles or something like that. So that wasn't West Coast, but 0-2 on the road out west. I don't really think that it matters at all, to be honest. Which now I'm thinking about, I think the 49ers loss was coming off a bye week, which they got beasted on by the 49ers. So they're rematching that game. But I don't think that comes into play in with Aaron Rodgers and this, veteran
not
team.
In playoff mode.
They added some additions that we talked about in the past on defense with the two Smiths. They just got studs on defense for once in Aaron Rodgers' career, and they still got Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah, and they got Aaron Jones and an actual rushing attack. I like the Packers a lot, man. I think we were both pretty high on them. Actually, man. Like halfway through the season when we were starting to dish out our power rankings.
Right.
So, like you said, this is the game I am really excited to watch. I want to see. My rooting interest is in the Packers and Chiefs to see a Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Because it's kind of like we're watching Patrick Mahomes right now do crazy things, and you're like, holy shit, like, never seen this before. But then Aaron Rodgers makes plays, and you're like, wait.
We've been seeing it for the last decade and a half.
Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers, I think you would agree, maybe before Pat Mahomes, or now it's debatable, but we both at one time said, like, Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback we've ever seen in the NFL. Like, raw talent, just IQ, athletic ability, arm strength, arm accuracy, just the whole package. Aaron Rodgers he is amazing. And Patrick Mahomes is now blossoming into that amazing, holy shit quarterback.
The things we've seen Pat Mahomes, as long as he stays healthy and continues. I mean, even if he plays like he does right now the rest of his career and doesn't even get better, which he's like, 25 years old or something ridiculous like that. Like, if he continues, even if he doesn't get better, he's still going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks we ever watch. But obviously, one would assume he's going to continue to progress and even get better. Like I said, as long as he stays healthy, he had a little bit of health issues this year with his knee and all that kind of stuff, but he's the next guy, and it is showing in all these big time games. Like, he is making throws that we rarely ever see.
Yeah. No, I mean, he realistically did everything in his power to go to the Super Bowl last year. It just happened to be up to the defense, and D Ford happened to line up offside. But anywho, for this year, like I said, my rooting interest is to see Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. I think
that'd be a really good matchup.
It would be awesome, man.
Their defenses are both good, and their offenses are both really good around their, stud QB.
Yes.
And you got the new upcoming young guy versus the old man veteran who's got the Super Bowl ring. The 49ers, on the other hand, their defense, like I said, probably the best defense in the league going against maybe the best offense in the league. And the Chiefs, that would be a fun matchup to kind of watch those two sides of the ball. Much like it's going to be fun this weekend. That's going to be the matchup I'm going to be excited about, is Aaron Rodgers in that offense going against Bosa in that defense. That's going to be a fun matchup. So either way, whoever wins this game is going to be a good Super Bowl, as long as the Titans don't somehow beat the Chiefs. Because
that would be wild, man.
Who knows? I mean, if they beat the Chiefs, then they have a chance to beat anybody. So
I mean, I'd still, I'm always interested in the Super Bowl. I love watching championship level football.
Right.
I mean, it honestly would be kind of hilarious if fucking Mike Vrabel gets this group of Titans to a Super Bowl.
Awesome.
I mean, that would be wild. But
I want the Chiefs. But going back to this NFC game, though. What do you think is going to be the difference maker between, this, Aaron Rodgers against that Bosa defense, and, what's Garoppolo going to do against the pass rush up front that the Packers bring? Like, what do you see standing out as the difference maker in this game?
The difference maker is, I think the 49ers are going to be in a spot where they're going to have to rely on Jimmy G a little bit more than normal, because it's going to be a tight game. That Niners defense is going to get their stops, but I don't think they're going to come in and just totally shut down Aaron Rodgers and that offense. So it's going to be back and forth, and I think it's going to come down to Jimmy G needing to make some throws, and I think he's capable of doing it in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Right.
Kyle
Shanahan
puts him
is
in a
that
great
position to win.
Yes. Yeah. So if I had to pick a winner, I'm going to go with the quarterback, and I'm going to go with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers coming up with a clinching drive in that fourth quarter to seal the deal. But like you were saying, this defense, the front for the 49ers is fun enough to watch, just to tune in to watch them. Like they're insane. Nick Bosa is going to be a monster for years to come in the NFL.
Arguably the best pass rusher in the game right now, and he's in his second year.
He's
crazy.
He's a freak. He's a freak. So I'm really excited to see that matchup. The Green Bay Packers finally have a defensive front that's worth something. So I think the Packers are going to win. I think it's going to be a close game. I think they're going to edge them out in the fourth quarter with kind of a game. Not game-winning drive per se, but like a game-sealing drive, like a big moment with Aaron Rodgers making passes, making throws to get a go-ahead touchdown drive.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was kind of thinking of, and I mentioned Bosa second year. He's actually a rookie, which is even fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So anyways, I think the key is going to be third downs is going to be the key. I think that's kind of where it's going to be a battle up front. Defenses are both going to get their stops. Both offenses are going to make their plays. But I think it's going to come down to who can make the most key third down conversions. Can Jimmy Garoppolo make a couple of those plays on third downs to keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands and not allow, I could see a key third down late in the game. Jimmy G doesn't get it. Give the ball to Aaron Rodgers. He comes down with the ball in his hands in the last 3 minutes, gets a scoring drive to win the game.
Yeah.
Like, I could easily see that.
That's trouble.
So I think the key is going to be, will the 49ers in particular, but both teams mainly, but who gets the most third down conversions and steps up to make the big play at the big moments. And I think it's going to ultimately going to be put on the shoulders of Jimmy G. Like, I think they might have a lead towards the end. And if he can make the big plays towards the end and almost seal the deal, they're going to win. But if he can't make the big play and you give the ball to Aaron Rodgers at the end of the game,
it's over.
It's going to be pretty fucking hard. Even with that pass rush, you're going to end of the game, fourth quarter, defense is tired, pass rush is going to be a little bit sluggish. I would not put my money on the 49ers with Aaron Rodgers with the ball in his hands to end the game. But my prediction, I'm going to go against you and pick the 49ers to win it. It's going to be my prediction. So 49ers Chiefs. I think ultimately what I just said is actually going to happen. It's going to come down late in the game, and Jimmy G is going to make a couple of those big plays. And it might even just happen to be Jimmy G, just the offense in general.
Yeah.
But he's going to make some plays to set up some short third down conversions, for instance, or he's going to make the big throw to Kittle or something. Like, he's going to have the ball in his hands late in the fourth quarter with the opportunity to kind of put the game away, or at least make it that much more difficult for the Packers. And I think he's actually going to get the job done. And that offense is going to get the job done, make some key third down conversions, and let their defense ball out. And it's going to be just enough to slow down the Packers offense that they're going to get it done and win by 4. I don't know, 3.
Yeah,
it's going to be one
single
score
possession.
game.
Yeah, I like it, man. It would be I want that Aaron Rodgers Mahomes Super Bowl, but I honestly would be pleased with a 49ers Chiefs matchup too.
Yeah.
I think either would be fun. I like Kyle Shanahan a lot. I respect him a lot. I think what he's done a tremendous job, obviously, with that offense. Got the defense in place, so they're a fun team to watch. I'm gonna pull the uniforms in this. I've always loved both teams, just kind of for their uniforms. Like, they're just two like historic teams, like
right.
old school
teams.
It's just a fun matchup. I don't know. It just feels
all the history, all the tradition.
It just feels right
Yeah.
that these two teams are playing for the NFC Championship game. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Hoping to see close games. I want to see more blowouts. It gets boring. The first round of the playoff was phenomenal.
I know.
Every game was
That
crazy.
was like the best wild card round I've ever seen, maybe.
For
I don't
sure.
know. I'd have to go back and think
sure.
about matchups. But
So we saw a little bit of blowouts in the next round, but I'm thinking these ones are going to be close, except the Chiefs might just fucking run away with it. But I hope that doesn't happen. I guess. I don't know. I just want the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl because I think they are a much more fun team to watch.
Watching the Chiefs blow out a team is entertainment for me.
Yeah, but I do like watching teams run the rock and pound the football, play good defense, and win, 17-14 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's fun too. But yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I don't know. Any other thoughts on upcoming games or topics we didn't hit? Guess we kind of hit everything. It's just weird wrapping up our first podcast of the year, I guess.
Yeah, it is first of the year.
Yeah.
No, we definitely
2020,
want to get into some basketball talk.
Yeah, man.
Here eventually.
Yeah, I just hit the Mavericks. I was in Dallas for work. Hit the Mavericks-Lakers game. Got delayed, or not delayed, but my flight got canceled because it was like tornadoes rolling through Dallas. I was like, well, I got another day to kill. What's going on? Ooh, let's go see LeBron James wear yellow and play basketball very good.
And ball out.
Dude, he did. He went 35, 15, and 7, I think is his stat line. It was awesome. It was really fun. Him and Luka going back and forth. Luka put up some stats too. But it was weird seeing LeBron wearing a Lakers jersey.
Yeah,
it was weird.
It's not right. In person, I mean, it's weird enough on
it was
TV
cool
when he left. But
and that was the thing. I was like, should I go? I was like, the tickets are expensive as fuck. Dude, nosebleeds were going. I checked on like StubHub before. They were going for like $160. It's like, I don't know about that. I was like, I'll go find a scalper or something like that, which I did. Got him for half that.
Nice.
And I was like, it's worth it. When am I ever going to get an opportunity to see LeBron ever again? Like, maybe he'll come to Cleveland a couple more times the rest of his career. I mean, who knows? He might come back to Cleveland and finish the last couple of years of his career here. But, especially in a historic franchise like the Lakers, how many opportunities am I going to get to see him play? So I had to take that opportunity and take advantage of that. And it was fun, man. It was cool.
Got to check out a new arena.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
Never been there. And then Luka played, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there you go, man.
He balled.
Absolutely worth it.
He put up some stats. AD did not, unfortunately. Battled a little injury, but that would have been fun. But no, it was cool seeing LeBron bring back some championship memories. And yeah, it was cool. So definitely, like you said, I want to get into some hoops once this football season kind of steps aside.
Getting close, man. It's getting close.
Right. So, yeah, we'll get into that. We'll definitely get into MLB. Anybody who's listening to this doesn't really know. Jeff and I are both enormous baseball fans, probably more so than any other sport, at least for me. Do you on the same page?
College football.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't know how with you being a Michigan
but
fan.
Then baseball.
With you being a Michigan
They're both
fan,
up there.
I don't know how you can handle it. So we're definitely going to talk a ton of baseball once the season gets going. I know I try to hit several games a year, so we'll probably talk about that. Some crazy shit that goes down at the games and after is always fun. And then we'll, talk about the game. I guess they just came out some Vegas predictions on wins for different teams. We'll get into that here soon. But like I said, I want to obviously talk about these football matchups and get through this Super Bowl and see what happens with these NFC, AFC championship games. I'm excited. So that's all we got for you. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Welcome into 2020. We're going to bring some heaters for you this year, bring in some interviews. Got some shit lined up. It's going to be a fun year. So stick with us. We'll be back. See you next week. Jeff, been a pleasure.
As always.
Peace.